Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com. So there's this guy. What's his name? Jesse. I got to go find out what his name is. I just looked at it, and I can't remember. It's this guy singing this song. Do you know what this guy is?
Oh, yeah, right.
So watch this. He wrote a song about United Health. It's a pretty good song. Let's listen to it.
There's an office and a building and a person and a chair, and you paid for it all, though you may be unaware. You paid for the paper, you paid for the phone, you paid for everything they need to deny you what you're owed. There ain't no you in United Health, there ain't no me in the company, there ain't no us in the private trust. There's hardly humans in humanity. Now the procedure that you're needing ain't the cost-effective route, and only 2% of people end up winning a dispute. So if you get sick, pray to God for help, 'cause your doctor's gotta pray to United Health. Way back in 77, Mr. Richard T. Burke started buying HMOs and putting federal grants to work, made 50 billion buckaroos. Last year, the Warren Buffett of health, the Jeff Bezos of fear. Now CEOs come and go, and one just went. The ingredient you got, bake the cake you get. But if you get sick, cross your fingers for luck, 'cause old Richard T. Burke ain't giving a fuck. Commoditized health, monopolized fraud. Here's the doctors we own and the research we bought. They own the pharmacies and a lot of the meds. They should start buying graves to sell us when we're all dead. There ain't no you in United Health, there ain't no me in the company, there ain't no us in the private trust. There's hardly humans in humanity. There's hardly humans in humanity.
Wow.
John Zoomer Cougar Camp.
Jesse Wells. He does sound like, yeah. I wonder why John Cougar Mellencamp never wrote that song, or Bob Dylan, or any of those people. Maybe it's
like, this is like we live in the Depression because they're making like Depression.
Yeah.
Hobo protest music again.
Yeah.
That's, we're not doing well. When there's catchy protest music again, from pre-hippie times.
Well, our country is not going to be conquered from outside. It's going to it's imploding, and that's what's happening. You have health care that you denied. It's the most expensive in the world. You have the worst outcomes, and then when you need it, they make you go bankrupt. You don't get it. Our education, you go bankrupt getting an education. You get in mountains of debt. Our housing, the rents, and more unaffordable. We're not investing in our infrastructure. We can't even build one high-speed rail train in California, but we can spend $40 billion on not building one. They spent $40 billion on not building a high-speed train in California.
Well, hell, we spent $30 billion on not solving homelessness.
Yeah.
You could solve homelessness for $30 billion. Can you? It looks like we didn't.
Looks like they don't. The Californian, like over 3 or 4 years, they spent $25 billion on homelessness. It got worse.
They can't find out. It's like the Pentagon. They can't account for it.
They don't know where it's because our governments are owned by corporations. So what happens when the government wants to solve a problem, they don't put together a plan to go solve that problem. They give money to a private corporation that just takes that money and puts it in their pockets and makes it look like, and do some busy work, make it look like you're doing something.
Who's incentivized to never solve the problem.
That's right.
The only incentive is to never solve the problem, just generate more income.
And, like with
off the free money again.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't put this together. I wanted to show this. Like, for instance,
we did single payer with it. The government paid them.
We have the problem of, all the mentally ill people on the streets, right? Drug addicts and mentally ill people with schizophrenia, people with paranoia, people with all kinds of stuff. And people often turn to drugs when they have mental illness. And so we used to have, in the 50s, we used to have, I'll do a segment on this on Monday. Hope I don't forget again. But they used to have over 500,000 people. When there was only 180 million people in the country, they had over 500,000 people in mental institutions. Well, in the 50s, they started this thing called deinstitutionalization. Like, somehow that was bad for people. And and then Reagan didn't start it. It started in the 50s. He just kind of put the final nail in the coffin in the 80s. Reagan did. And so instead of having 500,000 people in mental institutions where they belong, now we have like 500,000 people who are mentally ill incarcerated in the United States. So, and then the rest of them are just out running around. And that guy, who got choked to death on that subway in New York, begged the government for help for his men. He would call the cops and say, "I'm hearing voices. I need help." There's no help to give him. Right now, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, is trying to change the laws to make it easier to get somebody committed, right? Because he thinks that's the problem. Oh. The problem is there's no place to commit them to. There's no capacity. And so now the mental ill are roaming the subways and the streets and just assaulting people, because that guy had already assaulted 3 old ladies, an old man and 2 old ladies, punched them in the face, broke their orbital bone, broke their nose, and he was still out roaming the streets. He's mentally ill. He was begging for help. And so then what happens? The citizens have to protect themselves from a mental patient, and then the race hustlers come in and make it all about race and division and the George Soros funded pieces of garbage. And so we never get the problem fixed. They didn't even address the problem. None of those. I watched those protests, the Black Lives Matter guys. None of them addressed the problem. The problem is that we deinstitutionalize. We need to build mental hospitals. That's what we need to do. That's a nice job program. People have construction jobs, and then you have counselors, you have doctors, you have people who help those people.
Then they can make a little extra money on the side doing experiments for the CIA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all around.
It's a win-win. So that's a great song. I just wanted, and so my prediction. So right. Not one politician I've heard talk about the problem. Not one politician. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden. Joe Biden ran on the public option, and then when he got elected, they never brought it up. What is the public option, Jimmy? It's when you have the option of keeping your corporate vampire private health insurance, or you can buy into Medicare. That's the public option. You have the option of buying a non-commercial health insurance or a commercial health insurance. And people say that why do you want to take away choice? No, that gives people choice.
Well, we can't afford it.
So I'm not forcing Medicare on anybody. I'm saying let's give people the option to choose it if they want, and let's wait 5 years and see what happens.
But what you want Medicare to be able to negotiate drug prices, because that's the only way we can afford that, Jimmy, and that will destroy the greatest health insurance industry in the world.
So our government, as I think Chris Hedges talked about, the levers of power have seized up, and they don't work. They only work when they're greased with the oil of corruption. So if there's corruption in there, that's how you get a couple of $100 billion to Ukraine. That's how you get $50 billion to Israel at the blink of an eye with no discussion.
Can we at least have Israeli health care?
Right. Guess who has universal health care, non-commercial? Is Israel. Guess who else has it? Ukraine. Guess who doesn't have it? The United States. So I don't think, I honestly, there was a glimmer of hope when Trump got elected that things would change maybe for the better in certain ways. But remember, he's not that way. Let's remember, not that way. And remember, he promised health care the first time he ran in 2016. He's going to give everybody health care.
Terrific. He's going to have a terrific.
He said it on plan. 60 Minutes. Then they go, "How are you going to do it?" He goes, "I'm going to do it. I'll get it done. I know how to make the hospitals give everybody health care." He never even thought about it again after that.
Yeah,
but they did think about trying to get rid of Obamacare. Obamacare, which again was a horrible answer to a horrible problem. Obamacare is not the answer. Obamacare just exacerbated the problems in a lot of ways.
And did that come from the Heritage Foundation?
That came from the Heritage Foundation, which is...
I love that, because they're all terrified of Project 2025.
They're all Project 2025. That's where Obamacare came
from them. They should put that at the top of the 2025 from the makers of Obamacare.
Yeah. So I used to have a joke in my act about that, and I would say, they said you have to vote. You have to vote for Obama, because if you vote for Romney, you're going to get Romney care. So we voted for Obama, and we got Romney care. because that's what we got.
Romney wasn't going to do Romney Care. He had decided it was communist on a national level, but
after,
just good
yeah,
for
that's right.
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
that's socialism, Jimmy, and it doesn't work.
And so all the Republicans voted against Obamacare to keep the illusion that there are two different parties. That was to keep. So as soon as the healthcare industry knew they had the votes, Big Pharma and health insurance had the votes, and Obama could push it through, they didn't need any Republicans to get on board.
Obama could have got us more in that shitty plan. He could have gotten more, and they were prepared for him to go, no, you got to at least do this.
And he didn't.
Like, you know what?
The public option was supposed to, he said, I'm not going to sign a healthcare plan. This is over almost 2 decades ago now. Barack Obama said, I'm not going to sign a plan that doesn't include the public option. And of course he did. Just like he said, my first priority is to codify Roe versus Wade, and then he gets elected. He didn't do it. Same thing with Joe Biden. I'm going to give you the public option and a minimum wage. He didn't do any of it.
I wonder if he'll make a doc about it with his Netflix deal.
Yeah, I bet you won't. So we're ruled by criminals. Barack Obama was a criminal. Mitt Romney's a criminal. Donald Trump is a criminal. He's not doing the things he said. And I really don't. I don't have much hope for the Donald Trump administration. I really don't. It'll be fun to watch and see what Kash Patel gets done. I bet not much. Same thing with Bobby Kennedy, because the people who run the country aren't the politicians. They don't. They're just puppets. And I wonder if Bobby Kennedy will even get confirmed. And if he does get confirmed, what is he going to have to get up to get confirmed?
They're going to do the bare minimum.
So you're not going to get. So don't. I don't mean to turn into a cynic, but my cynicism cannot even keep up with the reality of this corrupt government.
Yeah. What do you mean turn into?
Yeah. I don't want to sound like a cynic, but my cynicism cannot keep up with the reality.
I mean, it's either that or chump. You got two choices,
and
cynic or chump.
Here we got the songs like this, and again, the FBI. If there's an organization that rises up, like when I tried to do Force the Vote, it gets infiltrated immediately.
It's not hard to do.
Immediately gets infiltrated. They get people like Cenk Uygur to lie to you about it. To smear healthcare activists. David Sirota, same thing, came on the show.
David Sirota continues to tweet about healthcare as if there was never anybody who brought it up before in front of him, and he continues.
And he lied about it. He came on the show and said that McCarthy could become speaker. He did the same thing, just like Ryan
McCarthy
Grimm
did become speaker, and then all the Democrats said, "Hey, why are you trying to kick out McCarthy?" He just became speaker.
Yep,
that's my favorite. The McCarthy thing is my favorite.
Yeah. Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com.